Having a few solo carry champs on your account that can literally solo specific boss encounters is useful for a couple of reasons. First of all, you can have champs that can solo very niche encounters. Stuff like Bommal the Dreadhorn, stuff like Scarab in the Doom Tower, right? These champs will make it so that you just don't have to worry as much about those encounters in the future anymore because one champ has them covered. Next, having a solid champ that can solo something like Dragon allows you to farm Dragon tournaments while also leveling food alongside that one champion. It's very, very efficient stuff. So here are, I think it's 6 more solo carry champs to round off this series that you might just want to level on your account. Let's begin, shall we? First up, we've got Vegas, or maybe it's Vegas. I'm gonna go with Vegas. This guy is basically like a Lady Annabelle in disguise without the bazookas. So Vegas is one of those champs that can solo the crap out of Scarab King completely solo in the Doom Tower and just get you through that encounter forevermore and just, yeah, make it so that you don't have to worry about it anymore. So the A1 actually helps out quite a bit. It's an attack 1 enemy with a 50% chance fully bucked of placing a reflect damage buff. To be honest, not the worst skill in the world to have against a boss that taunts the crap out of you, right? So you're just gonna be forced to spam this A1 anyway. The A2 is place a strong continuous heal buff and strong increased speed buff and a reflect damage buff on a target ally for a few turns. Also places ally protect and an increased defense buff on Vegas for a couple of turns as well, but yeah, obviously that's not exactly going to be a thing, right? We're not going to be placing the ally protection buff. And with Vegas, it's really all about the passive. Vegas, I'm just switching between the two interchangeably now. So the passive places a shield buff on this champion equal to 10% of their HP for 2 turns whenever this champion loses 10% or more of their max HP from a single hit. So this shield, not completely reliable depending in what stage of Scarab you're actually going into, of course. But it almost doesn't matter, right? This shield is here as like a failsafe if the Scarab starts to slap a little bit. The active effect though, place a 15% continuous heal buff on this champ for 2 turns every time their HP drops below 50%. The son of a gun has a built-in regeneration set. That's it. Now, a couple of caveats with good old Vegas, right? The gearing is quite specific with this guy and quite unusual. Usually when you've got a solo carry champ, you're smacking them in immortal sets, regeneration sets, that kind of thing, right? With Vegas, because he's so specialized for Scarab, right? And he's relying on a continuous heal buff to stay up on him to keep him alive as he plinks the Scarab down. You gotta build him with like 350 resistance, right? Otherwise, the Scarab is going to strip the heal buff. You then want to build him in either a toxic set or a destroy set. Either will work about the same, right, with similar effect. And honestly, it's just quite a weird and fun build to try out for a solo carry champ on good old Vegas. One thing that we should warn you of course, is actually reaching the Scarab King boss with a full team still left alive. That will make it so that the entire team is attacking into the boss and triggering its counterattack mechanics, right, if they're not shielded. And so Vegas can actually die very, very quickly indeed if you reach the boss with a full team alive. He's very, very much a lone wolf, where you just don't want to trigger the crap out of the boss's auto attack because you're relying on a continuous heal and a somewhat inconsistent shield buff in order to keep him alive, which is very, very excellent and reliable when he's on his own. But yeah, if you're triggering the crap out of all of those counterattacks, then Vegas may well die. So just be aware of that. Another champ that can solo the crap out of Dragon, basically all of the normal stages, and up until hard mode stage 7 Dragon, which is very, very impressive stuff, is going to be Nishak Verminlord. Good old Nishak, man. This guy spams the hell out of bomb debuffs with the A1, attacks 3 times at random, each hit with a 50% chance of placing a bomb debuff for 2 turns. And touching on the A3, it's an attack all enemies with a 100% chance of placing 2 bomb debuffs on each target for 2 turns, and then grants an extra turn. Very, very juicy stuff when you consider the passive, right? Every time a bomb debuff placed by this champion detonates or is removed, places 2 strong poison debuffs for 2 turns. So you're placing bombs, you're getting bombs to explode, poison the crap out of people, and on the A2, it's an attack all as well, with a decreased attack debuff attached. It also reduces the detonation time of all applied bombs and increases the duration of all poison debuffs by 1 turn as well. So just a crap load of bombs, crap load of poisons. That's that. You can do so well into Dragon, especially up to stage 7 hard mode, just because of the positive affinity, right, being force champ. And Nishak is one that we're just throwing on this list because honestly, he's very, very straightforward. He's not so much a weird, crazy, cooked up solo carry champion or anything like that. He's very, very bog standard, right? Spam the hell out of poisons, build him in a regeneration set, immortal set. Having north of like 230 resistance and at least 180 speed is going to help you out quite a bit and sort of get the build started. And yeah, that's Nishek, basically. Maybe you can build him with even a little bit more resistance and you could also work into soloing Ice Golem, but I don't know what stage you'd be able to carry up until. But generally speaking, champs that can sort of solo carry into Dragon tend to do pretty well with enough resistance into Ice Golem as well, so maybe he'd work for you there too. Hey man, promo code time. If you haven't already, go ahead and smack in the promo code GameLeap to get your hands on 1 free energy refill, 10 free experience brews, and 100,000 silver. And you know what? If you already used code GameLeap, why not share it in your clan as well and help your bros out? And of course, to start the perfect new Raid Shadow Legends account, do so by clicking on the promo link down below at the top of the video description. Doing so will start with your fresh new account with free epic champion and a whole bunch of starting goodies. It'll also help to support the channel too, man. So hell, I'd really appreciate that if you're looking to start a new free-to-play adventure, then that's the word that you do it. It would be awesome. Okay, man, let's get on to good old Sathalia. So Sathalia is a little bit of a raid boss when it comes to Arena, right? She has a very, very good kit in terms of utility for Arena mode. In her A1, she's going to attack one enemy with a 60% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for a couple of turns. Very, very saucy. The A2 removes all debuffs from a target ally, then places a block debuffs buff for a couple of turns, and heals that ally by 75% at the max HP. Yeah, if the target is fully healed by the skill, it also heals all other allies by 20% of the max HP and fills the 10 meters by 15%. Very, very good stuff indeed, and she's also got some crazy buff peel as well on her A3. For the Sand Devil encounter, you do actually want to disable this skill completely. I'm not sure that the AI would even use this anyway, to be honest. It's like a 10 meter fill and an attempted 10 meter decrease of enemies by 20%. But I don't know, it's just not necessary. Disable this crap. It's really all just about the A1 and the A2. Just all round a very, very solid champ worth building. But what we're going to be using it for is soloing the crap out of Sand Devil. This is of course mostly because of her HP burn effect, helping it to actually get the boss down. And the A2 is going to be all about cleansing the minus accuracy and minus speed debuffs from herself that the boss is placing. And honestly, Sand Devil is one of those bosses where it's just finicky. It's just annoying. It's just frustrating. It's one of those bosses that you got to build a specific team around. If you don't have a champ that's constantly putting the boss to sleep on your account just yet, then Sathalia can be an incredible, incredible option. She is going to be most safely farming stage 15 of Sand Devil, and that is for just farming the crap out of a ton of smaller oils, which you are going to be spamming, by the way. They might just be the smaller oils, but you tend to be spamming those outright to kind of test where the ascend stats are going on certain items, so you end up using a lot of smaller oils. She can just build that stockpile for you, solo the crap out of the boss in a regeneration set, immortal set, all of that good stuff. Of course, you're just trying to build it with as much health and as much speed as possible. Also enough accuracy of 2, of course. Be landing the HP burn debuff, but that shouldn't be too hard given you're only going into stage 15. And naturally, she can be doing that while also carrying food champs through the boss encounter, right? And just earning a little bit of XP for those food nerds. We don't get many solo spider carries in this game, but Akoth is definitely one of those. So for a quick kit breakdown for this guy, on the A1, we've got an attack one enemy with a chance of placing a decreased crit rate debuff for 2 turns. I mean, it's not nothing. It's really all about the A2 though. Attacks all enemies with a 20% chance of placing HP burn debuff for 2 turns. However, the chance of placing the debuff increases by 20% for each alive enemy, which is always going to be, I don't know, like 1 trillion spiderlings in Spider's Den. The A3 is also another attack all with a 50%, no it's not, a 70% chance of increasing the cooldown of all skills by 2 turns on enemies and HP burn debuffs, sort of whatever. Also places a shield buff equal to 20% of this champion's max HP on all allies for 2 turns. That's actually pretty saucy. And we round this off with his passive, a fully bucked 25% chance of placing a fear debuff on an enemy for 1 turn whenever they receive damage from an HP burn debuff placed on themselves. So nice. All in all, quite survivable, brings his own shield, mass, very, very reliable HP burn debuff. Now, while Akoth can solo up to Spider 20, there's a couple of caveats and kind of stat checks that you're going to have to hit with his gear. Of course, we're talking regeneration and immortal sets on it, but you're also talking like a minimum of like 320 resistance, even more, really, so that he can reliably resist the poisons coming out from these spiderlings. If 1 or 2 get through, that's obviously whatever, who gives a damn. But obviously with poisons dealing percentage health damage, if you've got super low resistance and they stack up 18 poisons or something, they're just kind of going to one-shot him when it comes around to his turn, right? So having that good baseline of resistance is going to be your saving grace. You're also going to want to build him with about 240 plus speed and at least 200 accuracy, with about 250 accuracy being most ideal and reliable. And lastly, we've got a real interesting champ here, dude. This was not the kind of champ at all that I'd think of as, like, oh, maybe this could solo carry somewhere or whatever. It's good old Deliana, man. Deliana actually goes the retaliation set route. Let's break down the kit. This gal, by the way, is good for soloing the lower stages of Spider, particularly Spider Stage 10, which of course is a fantastic stage to farm during Spider training tournaments. When there's a Spider tournament active, generally Stage 10 is very, very efficient to farm because it drops in inordinate amount of 5-star items, given the low energy cost of the dungeon stage. So it's very, very good indeed. And Deliana can handle it with honestly pretty mediocre gear, man. So, Deliana's kit, the A1, it's an attack all enemies with a 60% chance bucked of placing a leech debuff for 2 turns. And this is going to be your core survival tool, right? This is why we're going to be running a retaliation set. Get in as many counterattacks as possible against all of the spiderlings coming in with this A1 as possible. On the A2, we've got attack 1 enemy with a chance of placing a strong decrease resistance debuff for a couple of turns. And if the target is under a block buffs debuff, also applies debuff spread, taking any decreased resistance debuff on the target and placing it on all enemies. The A3 is another attack all with a 100% chance of placing that block debuff on each enemy for 2 turns. Also heals allies by 5% of their max HP for each block buffs debuff placed by this skill. Ooh, and look at that. I forgot about this last bit, but fill this champion's turn meter by 10% for each block buffs debuff attempt blocked or resisted by the enemy team also. So even if that crap isn't landing, you still get that 10 meter reset. So hey man, Deliana, couple of retaliation sets, a speed set, right? You still want to be moving as fast as possible if you can. And dude, I've even seen other videos on YouTube where Deliana can pull this off, right? Spider Stage 10, completely solo, retaliation gear, all that good stuff. She can pull this off at level 50, dude. For me, I think that her reviews are good enough that you probably max her out anyway, so probably just take her up to 60. But yeah, man, certainly a less conventional solo carry champ that you can throw some food champs in with, farm a good old Spider tournament, never have to worry about that event again, and just spend your energy with maximum efficiency. And that's what it's all about. And alright, man, it feels like the longer the series goes on, the weirder and weirder the solo carry champs get that we are covering in this series. If I've missed any off of this list, and there was a list at the start of the video with all of the champs that we've covered so far, as well as the champs covered in this video, if I've missed any so far, make sure to plop them down below in the comments, man. Hell, maybe we've got another solo carry champs video in us. Who knows? You guys seem to really enjoy them. So hey, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you all did enjoy. If you are looking to set up a new raid account, make sure to do so by clicking on the promo link down below at the top of the video description box to start that fresh account with the free epic champion. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm going to catch all of y'all just a tad bit later, man.